23 now, but this happened when I was about 6 or 7. I've told a few people about it, and I know it sounds crazy, but my older brother was there with me, and he remembers everything the exact same way, like word for word. We even randomly bring it up sometimes, just to make sure we're not losing it or making stuff up. We've called each other mid-conversation with someone else, like, "Yo, tell them what happened again." Anyway, here's what went down.
Some quick context. I grew up in Hawaii, out in the country, way up in the mountains. At the time, it was just me, my mom, and my older brother. He was 12 or 13, at home. My stepdad was out with our other brothers, running errands or something, and my biological dad lived down the mountain, about 45 minutes away. My brother and I were chilling in our room playing video games. At some point, we noticed it had gotten dark, and the hallway light outside our door was off. We got a little spooked. I remember peeking out and seeing my mom's bedroom light on and her door open, but the rest of the house was pitch black. I think she told us earlier she was going to take a bath. I don't fully remember, but somehow we knew she was in the bath.
So we go to check on her. Her bedroom's empty, so we knock on the bathroom door. No answer. We keep knocking, calling out, asking if she's okay. Still nothing. Eventually we just go in, and the tub is full of water, but she's not in there. No mom. Nothing else weird, just a full tub, an empty room, and the rest of the house in total darkness. At this point, we're both pretty freaked out. My brother puts me on my mom's bed, and he starts calling out for her in the hallway. The way our house was set up, the hallway went past our rooms and off to the left toward the living room. He's calling out. Nothing. So he comes back and starts trying to call her phone. No answer. Then, the part that still messes me up. We heard a whisper, clear as day, like someone literally leaned in and whispered right into our ears. It was so real, it felt like my mom was sitting beside us, whispering something secretly to each of us individually. The first thing we heard was,
"He's hiding."
I screamed. My brother immediately threw my mom's blanket over my head, hugged me tight, and told me to close my eyes. Then, same voice, same whisper, but louder.
"He has no face."
We both lost it. My brother starts calling my stepdad, like, "We can't find Mom. Weird stuff's happening. I don't know what's going on." He told us to stay put and said he was coming home. Then we called our biological dad too, because depending on where he was, he might get there faster. We just sat there in my mom's room for like 20 or 30 minutes. Nothing else happened, but we were terrified. Eventually, my stepdad got home with our older brothers. They were in high school. We'd already told them what happened, so they immediately started tearing through the house, attic, closets, everything. My stepdad went toward the living room, and I don't remember exactly how he found her, but I remember hearing people talking and coming out to the living room. She was just sitting in the rocking chair. My stepdad was crouched in front of her, holding her hands, talking to her. I don't even remember what he was saying. But then suddenly she started laughing, like this wild, hysterical laugh. Not funny ha-ha laughing, scary laughing, just non-stop for like a full minute.
Then she jumped up out of nowhere, ran to her bathroom, and started throwing up. And what came out wasn't normal. It was black, like pitch black. We were all just standing there, like what the actual hell is going on? After that, she was fine, like totally normal. But the craziest part? She didn't remember any of it. She said the last thing she remembered was setting up her bath. Nothing after that. She still doesn't remember anything to this day.
So, yeah, that happened. And it still messes me up. That whispering part especially. It felt so real. And the words, "He's hiding. He has no face." Just no. I'll never forget that.
The smell of a new house is supposed to be the smell of a new beginning. For the first week, it was. It carried the scent of fresh paint and the promise of a future where my wife, Anna, and I would watch our 6-year-old daughter, Lily, grow up. This was our forever home. Lily adapted quickly, and on the 3rd day, she introduced us to her new friend.
"The Watcher lives in my closet,"
she told us matter-of-factly over dinner. An imaginary friend, perfectly normal. We played along, not thinking anything of it, until the first rule emerged a few days later. I was tucking her in and went to close the heavy oak closet door.
"No, Daddy.
She whispered, real panic in her voice.
You can't close it all the way. The Watcher needs to see out."
She left a 6-inch gap, smiled at the darkness, and burrowed under her covers. It became a non-negotiable part of our nightly routine. A silly quirk, we told ourselves, but a cold knot of unease formed in my stomach.
That knot became a fist last night when I found one of her drawings. It was a typical kid's drawing of our house, but in the window of her room, she had drawn an eye. It wasn't a doodle. It was shockingly, horrifyingly detailed. A perfect hazel iris, a dilated pupil, and a spider web of red veins. It was just there, floating and staring. That was it. I am a rational man. My daughter was developing an unhealthy fixation. After she and Anna were asleep tonight, I walked into her room. The sliver of absolute black in the closet doorway seemed to suck the air from the room. My heart hammered against my ribs, but I ignored it. I reached out, my hand trembling, and pushed the heavy door. It closed with a final, definitive click. For a moment, nothing. I felt a surge of relief. Then, with the sound like 100 camera flashes going off at once, every single light bulb in the house exploded. A single deafening pop plunged us into a sudden, suffocating darkness. After calming Anna and a terrified Lily, claiming it must have been a massive power surge, I knew what I had to do. Armed with my phone's flashlight, I went back into Lily's room and pulled the closet door open, recreating that 6-inch gap. The moment I did, the emergency nightlight in the hallway, one I'd forgotten we even had, flickered to life. Coincidence. It had to be. But I couldn't sleep. I had to know what was in there. I knelt down, my knees cracking on the floorboards, and peered into the darkness. It was there,
Suspended in the gloom was a real, human-looking eye. Its brilliant green iris, flecked with gold, was slick and wet. It followed my every movement with a smooth, silent, perfectly biological arc. There was no body, no context, just a silent, sentient, watching eye. My mind raced. I needed proof, something tangible to show Anna so she wouldn't think I was losing my mind. I remembered the old webcam I used for work. An idea, born of terror and desperation, took hold. I crept into the study, grabbed the camera, and quietly set it up on Lily's dresser, aimed squarely at the closet. I'm in my study now, watching the live feed on my laptop. It's been hours. Anna and Lily are asleep upstairs. For the longest time, it was just a dark, silent video of a closet door. I almost gave up. But then I saw the timestamp in the corner of the screen tick over to 3:03 a.m.
The eye, which had been staring into the corner of the closet, swiveled in a sickeningly fluid motion to look directly at the camera lens. It filled the frame. Before I could react, the camera's autofocus struggled for a second, and the impossible darkness behind the eye swam into clarity. It wasn't a wall. It was a gallery of eyes. Hundreds of them, packed into the abyssal depth. Eyes of every color and shape, all wide with a single, raw emotion. Absolute terror. They weren't looking at the camera. They were looking past it, into the room. In the final moment before the feed cut to static, the watcher looked directly into the camera, at me, and gave a slow, deliberate wink. Now you see. The truth hit me with the force of a physical blow. It wasn't a prison. It was an observation post. It wasn't a monster. It was a sentry. The rules weren't threats. They were a security protocol. Keep the door ajar so I can see.
I hadn't trapped a monster when I closed that door. I had blinded our guardian and announced to whatever was outside that the house was now unprotected. At that exact moment, I heard it, downstairs, the distinct wooden creak of the front door swinging open. A slow, heavy scraping sound began to drag itself across our new floors. It was moving toward the staircase. I didn't grab a weapon. I didn't run. My only insane sliver of hope was the thing I had feared most. I burst from my study and sprinted up the stairs, my feet silent on the carpet. I threw open Lily's door. She was still asleep. I ran to the closet and flung the heavy door wide open. The watcher's green eye swiveled to me. Its gaze wasn't angry. It was relieved, vindicated, finally. Then its gaze darted past me to the open bedroom doorway. The scraping was right outside the door. The watcher was staring at the doorway. I think it's telling me to hide.
I think it's telling me it will handle this. The doorknob is turning.
Hi. This might be a weird one, but I have nowhere else to turn. I've tried changing the locks, calling the local authorities, and now I'm considering moving as a last resort. I need help keeping myself out of the house. Let me take a step back and explain what's been happening. About 8 months ago, my wife, let's call her Helen for privacy, and I moved into our new home. It's planted at the end of a cul-de-sac in a nice gated community. Originally, we moved here to be closer to our jobs and for the additional space so we could finally start trying to have a family. At first, everything seemed normal. The neighbors were nice and friendly. The transition to our new home was fairly easy, and Helen got a promotion shortly after. Everything was going great, but one day something happened. It was the middle of the night when Helen nudged me awake, not the slow kind, quick and frantic. She nudged me again, harder this time, and whispered,
I heard someone downstairs.
I sat up, still foggy from sleep. Our bedroom was pitch black, but I could hear the faint creak of floorboards below. Slow, deliberate, not the settling kind, not the wind, something heavier. I grabbed the old bat from under the bed, the same one I'd kept since college, and crept out. Helen stayed behind, the lock clicking softly as she closed the door. I didn't find anyone.
No signs of a break-in. Front and back doors still locked. Nothing missing, nothing moved, except for the refrigerator door, hanging slightly ajar. I almost laughed it off, but Helen didn't sleep the rest of the night. That morning, I bought the cameras. 4 of them, one above each entrance and one in the living room. Synced to my phone. Motion alerts, night vision, cloud backup, top of the line. It made Helen feel better, made me feel proactive. And it helped for a while. A few days passed without incident. Then one morning, I got a notification while at work. Motion detected. Back door. 7:42 a.m.
I tapped the video, sipping my coffee as I waited for it to load. And there I was, clear as day, jacket zipped halfway up, coffee mug in hand, unlocking the door, walking inside. Only I was already inside the house. I'd woken up late that morning. I hadn't even left yet. I double-checked the timestamp, checked the footage from the inside camera. Same time, same moment. Helen making breakfast, me walking into the kitchen. Twice. I tried to rationalize it. Maybe a system glitch, a saved clip from another day accidentally mislabeled, some kind of tech hiccup. Until it happened again and again.
Sometimes at night, sometimes during the day, always from a different entrance, always me, same clothes, same face, no distortion, no signs of editing or loops. I even started dressing intentionally weird some mornings, mismatched socks, inside-out hoodie, just to test it.
The version caught on camera matched my appearance exactly each and every time, even down to how my hair sat. I've hidden these clips from Helen. I don't want her to worry, and I just don't know what to say to explain what's happening. The worst was the 4th week after moving in. I came home late from work. Helen was upstairs asleep. I poured myself a drink, sat down and checked the cameras out of habit. There was footage from earlier that evening, about 30 minutes before I walked through the door. It was me again, walking through the front door.
But this time I looked up at the camera, stared directly into the lens for a full 5 seconds before moving inside. That version of me, whatever the fuck it is, never showed up again in the footage. No exit, no movement upstairs, just gone. The next morning, I woke up on the couch to the sound of Helen softly singing and cooking breakfast. I got up and kissed her cheek, commenting on her good mood. Then she said something that made my stomach twist.
Why wouldn't I be? You were in a very good mood last night.
She giggled and went back to cooking, humming as if nothing was wrong. I don't know what's happening. I've changed the locks, reinstalled the entire system, even set up a second layer of hidden cams Helen doesn't know about, in case I'm losing it. But the entries keep happening. Always me, never overlapping in person.
Sometimes I catch myself wondering, what if I'm the wrong one? What if I'm not the original? He still shows up. Sometimes when I'm home, most of the time when I'm not. The part that bothers me most are the times I catch the other me rubbing Helen's stomach. Other times she's unaware he's there, watching her. She's due to have the baby soon. I don't know what to do. That's why I'm writing this. Not for sympathy, not even for answers. Just in case one day you see me on the news, missing, arrested, or worse. I need someone to know. I've been trying to keep myself out of the house, and I think I'm losing.